Well, I needed a way to remove the primer crimps in my Lake City brass. I've got, you probably can't really see it, but I got about 250 there and probably 1,500 more that I haven't run through the tumbler yet. And started out trying to do it by hand. It just takes forever. If I only had 15 or 20, that'd be great, but I'm not going to do 2,000 of these by hand, just with my little deburring tool. Then I guess they have like a, I don't know what the heck it is, like a swaging tool to do it. That's supposedly quicker. Well, that's great, but I've spent some stinking much money on this reloading equipment now. I probably could have bought some car parts to help get my race car going, which I'd much rather be doing than ammunition reloading. But I guess the way I'm viewing it is this is going to be a future, in the future I'll have this stuff and it's going to last for many, many years because I'll take care of it, so it'll be a one-time cost. But anyways, I started thinking, I thought, well, why in the heck don't I just chuck this thing up in my lathe? I tried it first with the hand drill, and that works pretty good too, but you got an awful lot of motion with your hands back and forth between grabbing the drill, turning it on, grabbing another thing, turning it on, pressing the button, letting the button go, whatever. Well, I've studied motion and time study in the past, and I know that that isn't necessarily the most efficient way. So basically I've got a chamfering tool in my lathe running at the slowest speed. Now I don't have it in back gear. I could go slower, but I found it in back gear it's too slow. It takes too long. This is a pretty good speed, right, what you're looking at now to do this. And the particular deburr tool that I have, of course that's what you use for deburring the case mouth once you do the length on it, is an RCBS. Now of course this thing's spinning, so I don't want to touch it too easily, but it's got a little bit of a blunt end on it so it doesn't hit your flash hole. So basically just push that in there like that, and that quick that primer crimp's gone. It's got a nice little chamfer it puts on it. See that one beginning? Done. Puts a nice little chamfer on it, which seems to help the primer start right into the hole, and it doesn't go so deeply that it affects the press of that primer, the actual press fit of it, to where it'll loosen it up. It's basically you're just taking that, the very end of that hole, putting a chamfer on it. At the same time you're putting that chamfer on it, you're taking that primer clip out of there, and you can do a lot of these in an hour. Now I look, every one of these that I do, I look over to make sure I got enough so I don't have to go back and do more. But literally, I mean, I've done quite a few here just standing here talking the past few seconds. Does a very nice job, and you only have to do that once on this brass. So it also works pretty good. I tested a little bit ago. It works pretty good on 45 ACP with a large pistol primer. If you have any of the old military ball ammo, which I've got now, maybe about 250 rounds of them, not a huge amount. But yeah, this is the way to go. If you happen to have a lathe, I mean, that quickly you're done. And that's probably actually quicker than the swaging method, if you think about it. And I can kind of feel, just by the feel of it, I can feel when that little primer crimp's gone. It's kind of hard to explain, but you kind of feel it hitting on the edge of that, then you feel it digging into more metal, and I go just a little bit longer, I know I'm done. But literally these 250 rounds here, I bet I could go through these in maybe 5-10 minutes. As compared to the other day, when I was working up some loads, oh, I probably spent half an hour doing maybe 20 of them. So if you happen to have a little lathe around, this isn't really that small of a lathe. This thing's a 13-inch South Bend lathe. It's actually a fairly good size South Bend. But if you happen to have a lathe, you can get it to turn that thing down pretty slowly, this is the way to go. The nice thing I've noticed about this, for some reason, maybe it has to do with the speed regulation of the drill. If you're using a cordless drill, it seems like it wants to grab this brass. You put that in there and it wants to kind of twist that brass as you're holding it into there. I think because the speed regulation isn't good enough on that drill to where the speed wants to drop down, and when it drops down, then it grabs the brass. Well, I'm not going to slow this thing down. I mean, I don't care what I do. Anything I do by hand, oh, put that one in the wrong hole. But there's nothing I'm going to do to slow this thing down. It's going to rip my fingers off first, which obviously that's not going to happen doing this. But yeah, no time at all. Got that primer Crimp out of there and you're ready to start putting primers in there. Just thought I'd show you the method I'm using. If you have one, great. If not, the electric drill method still works pretty good. And I hear that the primer swager is a great way of doing it, and I'm sure it is. And maybe somebody will tell me that's the way I ought to be doing it, but I don't know, the 25, 30 rounds that I shot the way I just did it, shot just fine. Actually way better than the Lake City hammer that I had. Way more accurate. So I'm going to continue to do it this way until I see a reason not to.